Okay, namaste, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll get started. You can make your way to your mat. And let's go ahead and start in a seated position tonight. If that means you need to sit in a chair or use a bolster because we haven't warmed up the spine at all, or even lean up against a wall or something, that's fine. Or the other option is if you have a block to do that modified kind of hero's pose, and you can sit up on your knees and place a block or two blocks between the ankles and then sit back on the block. Or you can just sit back on your heels if your ankles and your knees allow. So it's kind of interesting. Some people can just sit on the floor like first thing, cross-legged very comfortably, and some of us can't. And then there's everything in between. So do whatever you need to do and make sure your pelvic bowl just feels level. You can feel your sits bones like 2 feet on the floor, your tailbone, not too much weight in it, just kind of floating. And then that allows the spine to come up nice and tall. So it's kind of like a flower pot is your pelvic bowl, and then that stem of the plant right out of the center coming up nice and straight. And you can, if you drop your gaze, if you're comfortable, you can close the eyes. But simply dropping the gaze just to help you start to turn your attention inward. You've all probably heard me say, but just a reminder, if you could keep just 5% of your awareness in the external space so that you can hear the cues to follow along with the guided practice, and the other 95% of your awareness is paying attention to your internal experience. So if we're just paying attention to things in the room and outside of us in a practice like yoga, it's going to leave us with a pretty limited experience of our bodies and of our minds. And so do your best just with a light footprint to kind of allow everything that is there to kind of wash over you. Just being an active observer, but not necessarily being getting into a debate or being a participant that's required to make decisions. We're really allowing this deeper experience of our self, capital S, to inform our practice. Allow the throat to soften and to open. So as you breathe through the nostrils in your practice, you don't disturb the nasal hairs. Allow the collarbone to lift and the rib cage to expand when you breathe in. Filling the lungs entirely. And then just feel them releasing back down and in toward the midline of the body, fully emptying the lungs. So there's no rush of the breath. There's no set count. There's no pushing and pulling. Really allowing each in-breath to come in fully and to release fully. Give yourself a few more breaths here to just connect to what's really here, what's really going on. Not just the external surface things we spend most of our time concerning ourselves with. Because we do have to be in this world. But for the next hour, get to just experience and connect to this deeper experience. And then if you want to set an intention for your practice, you can do that now silently to yourself. And I would just like to set a group intention this evening to just maybe pose the question and then set it aside so you're not getting entangled throughout the practice. But to pose the question, what is the truth? Or what are truths? And allow that intention just kind of wash over you with the breath, drawing it down to the base of the spine. And then as you exhale, just kind of release it. It's like we're going to surrender it to a higher intelligence, and we'll come back to it and revisit. So on your next inhale, you can flutter the eyes open, but keep the gaze dropped if that helps you keep your awareness inside or horizon level with the gaze. Go ahead and release the arms at your sides with the hands just kind of hovering above the floor next to the hips or grazing if they reach. And then inhale and sweep the arms up overhead, shoulders relaxing. Just take it easy. Exhale into cactus formation, palms facing the ears. Squeeze at the backs of the shoulder blades, and then even kind of feel them squeeze together like you're really retracting the shoulder blades, drawing the elbows back for a moment. Take a deep breath in, shoulders at the top relaxed. And then exhale, release the hands down. And do that one more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up, shoulders relax. Exhale, cactus arms. Continue to breathe and squeeze the elbows and shoulder blades back. So kind of pinching them together or retracting the shoulder blades. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, you can release the arms down. Take some shoulder rolls up, back, and down 2 or 3 times. And then bring the fingertips to the shoulders and circle with the elbows both directions 2 or 3 times each. Nice and easy. And then inhale, sit up nice and tall. And exhale, just twist to the right from the rib cage. So bringing your chest past that right knee, and then release one hand behind you, one on the knee. Use each inhale to lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, you can deepen into the rotation if it feels appropriate. You can allow the left sit bone to come in front of the right, and you can take the gaze over that back shoulder. One more breath. Then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, just turn to the left. Start with the rib cage and the chest. And then release the hands for support to help you sit up tall. And then use your breath to guide you in. Inhale, lengthening through the crown of the head. And exhale, deepening into the twist. You can start with the base of the spine, right sit bone coming in front of the left a little bit. And exhaling. And then exhaling, letting the chin go over that back shoulder. So you deepen in the upper part of the spine as well. One more breath. And then inhale back to center. Take a deep breath here. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer. Inhaling. And then exhale. Press your hands forward, straightening the arms. Press the shoulder blades apart. Tops of the shoulders stay relaxed and round. Look down between the arms. And then inhale, open them up like you're spreading your wings. Lift your heart. Look up, little back bend. Exhale, hands together and round again. Again, tops of the shoulders relax. Good. Then inhale back to center, hands at the heart, sit up tall. We'll do that 2 more times. Exhale, pressing the hands forward and rounding. Inhale, opening into the back bend. Exhale, closing the hands and rounding. And inhale, sitting up tall, hands at the heart. Last one. Exhale, rounding, press the hands forward. Inhale, open, spread your wings, lift your heart, look up to the warmth of the sun. Exhale, round again. And then inhale, sit up tall, hands at the heart. Good. I'm glad everybody's actually following their breath because I'm actually waiting on people. Good job. If there were yoga points, you guys would get 200 extra points for that. And you'd get to pass go. Release the arms at the sides. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, and just exhale, side bend over to your right. Sweep the left arm up. We'll move in and out. Inhale, just lift up part way. Exhale, deepen into the side bend. Do that one more time. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, side bend. Hold for 2 more breaths. So just notice if you hug the right rib cage into the body, it helps you to feel more like you're staying long in both sides. So both sides have a long arching line. And then come back up to center. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, side bend left. Support your hand, your body with your hand. And then inhale, just come up part way. So you feel both side bodies kind of lengthen up, and then exhale, side bend again. Last time, inhale, come up part way. Exhale, side bend. Hold for a couple breaths. Relax the shoulders out of the ears so they still feel level. Good. And then rise up, back to center. Let the arm relax at the side. Come forward to hands and knees now. You can use a blanket to cushion the knees. And just go side to side, one knee at a time, coming under the hips till you feel aligned, nice tabletop across the back and the sacrum. Pick up one hand at a time till you feel the wrists, elbows, and shoulders come into a line, and the tops of the shoulders can relax. Lengthen through the crown of the head so the muscles feel soft in the back of the neck. Ground in those 4 points. And inhale, glide forward about 4 inches. And then exhale, glide back. Lumbar nerve glide. Hold your awareness on the breath. And try to feel the area around your sacrum and lower spine as you ground and glide forward and back. Just see if you notice any slight, subtle sensations. These nerve glides help to relieve neural tension. So sometimes you might have an actual palpable experience of it, but not always. I know some of them that my PT has given me for my upper body can actually be quite intense. This one's more gentle. One more time, inhale and exhale. Now bring the knees together to touch at the midline. Inhale at the center and exhale, drop your hips to the right. Then inhale at the center, exhale, drop the hips left. Just do one more time to each side. Inhaling in the middle, shoulders stay relaxed. Helps to tone the upper back and stabilize the shoulder blades so that your wrists and shoulders and elbows don't get tired. Come back to center, knees under the hips again. And then take your knees wide, actually. Let's sit back in child's pose. Big toes together, sit back. If you can't sit all the way back, remember, you can always come forward to lower your forehead. So everybody's joints and where they are this evening are different. Take one more breath here. And then I want you to inhale, come back up, slide the hands under you, then lower yourself down, elbows under the shoulders, palms facing up, or still shoulder width apart. Good. And then sit back into child's again. Again, if you can't sit all the way back, you can just slide the arms forward to get the forehead down. This one, when I do it this way, I have to come forward. It isn't my hips restricting me, it's my shoulders restricting me. So it's really neither here nor there how you need to get there. Just as long as the experience is firm, steady, and pleasant, you're able to breathe those nice, full, natural, smooth breaths. Take 2 more. And then inhale, rise up, bring the shoulders under, or the elbows under the shoulders. Turn the palms down now, lie flat, and come into Sphinx pose. So you'll feel compression through the lower spine, but we shouldn't feel any pain. And then just gently press into the toenails. The knees don't lift away from the floor. So if they lift away from the floor, then we're just toning our quads too much, the front of the legs too much. So maybe back off the upper a little bit so you feel the backs of the thighs and the front of the thighs working in concert. And then draw the shoulders back and then gaze up and forward at the horizon. So do your best to kind of feel like your face is in a vertical plane as long as it does not cause any pain in the neck. You get a little deeper stretch to the front of the rib cage. Ground in the forearms, the elbows, the hands. One more breath. And then take the elbows out to the side, stack the hands, rest the forehead. Crocodile breath, 3 rounds here, natural smooth breath. And on your 4th inhale, go ahead and lift up your right leg. Step on the gas with the ball of your foot and exhale, lower it down. Then inhale, lift the left leg as high as you can. Try to get the whole leg off the ground and exhale, lower. And do that 2 more times each side, alternating sides. There's no rush. The movement is following the length and duration of the breath. The hip doesn't pop up on the leg that's raising. And after your 3, then inhale, lift both legs. Step on the gas. If you look at my feet, they kind of look like Barbie feet, where her feet are always in high heels. Take one more breath. And then slowly lower. Good. Take your legs like mat width apart. Bring your hands next to your rib cage. Hug the elbows into the side bodies. You can start with the forehead to the mat. Again, press into the tops of the toenails. And then inhale, lift up into cobra. Start with a nice easy one and exhale, lower. Do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Exhale and lower. Then bring your feet outside the mat. So pretty wide legs. Ground into your toenails evenly. And 3 cobra lifts. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. 3rd and final one. Go ahead and hold here for a couple breaths. Lower down. Take the arms out to a T. Let your legs stay wide. Just completely relax the heels, the feet where they want to. Just take up a lot of space here on the floor as you take an active rest. So the active part is that the breath is still there and your mind is still staying in that active observer state. And then bring one leg at a time back to hip, in line with the hips. So bringing the legs together. Pick up the right leg and set it down. Pick up the left leg and set it down. And bring the hands next to the rib cage, elbows reaching down towards the heels and hugging into the sides. And then inhale, lift up into your cobra. Hold for 3 breaths. If you want, if it's okay and you feel like you can handle more compression in your spine, you can push in your hands now to come up a little bit higher. Just keep the chin dropped so the neck feels long in the back. And take one more breath. Good, and then lower down. Take your arms out to a T, or you can do the stacked hands for the forehead if you don't like your forehead on the floor. It's kind of making my nose itch tonight. One more breath. And then curl your toes under. Bring your hands next to the chest. Inhale to tabletop or hands and knees. And exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal the feet. Kind of feels good now to stretch through the whole back body after all that warming. Shoulders relax away from the ears and feel them actually kind of wrapping as they draw down toward the seat. If you need to bend in your knees a little bit or generously to feel yourself able to send the hips high and feel length in the lumbar vertebrae, that's fine. Your heels may or may not touch. Your knees and legs may or may not go straight like ever. What we want is for you to feel a sensation of stretch in the whole back body, and that includes the spine. Take one more breath. And then lower your knees. And you can grab blocks for this portion here of low lunge series to put under the hands if you have them. I find it useful. Step your right foot forward. Again, you can come up to blocks. Another variation is to walk this foot over to the right and bring both hands to the inside in more of a runner's lunge variation. So each of us kind of maybe flocks to a certain variation. There's probably good reason for that. Something with your proportions. So just relax the shoulders out of the ears. There we go. Flatten in the back of the heart space. One more breath here. And we'll step back, we'll switch sides. Let's make this first one, left foot forward. Make this first one just to that first edge of feeling of stretch. And we're just gonna hold and breathe. So we're starting out very gently. Taking a few breaths, being sure that we're choosing a variation that allows our spine to feel long, not like we're having to round or in order just to reach the floor. Last breath. And step back with the left foot, switch sides. Again, right foot forward, back to the first side. So this time, press your hands to your thigh to help you come up. So leaving your left hand on your right knee, take your right arm out in front, thumb up, pull this arm bone back into the socket, take an inhale here, and then exhale, twist to the right, reach your right arm back. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, rotate. Inhaling to center. Last time, reach back. We'll hold. Draw your right hip back. Let your left one come forward. You can just keep your gaze over the center of your chest or over to the side wall or all the way back. That's going to challenge your stability a little bit. One more breath. And then come back to center. Hands down. Let's rock back into a hamstring stretch here, just for a few breaths. We got an exclamation of joy in the studio on that one. It's again, isn't it interesting? The things we flock to that we like, our body really likes certain movements. Good, and then come forward, step back. We'll switch sides, left foot forward. Hands to the thigh to help you come up. Focus your gaze. Right hand to the left knee. Left arm forward, thumb up. Pull the arm bone back into the socket. Take an inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, reaching back. Inhale back to center. So you might notice, exhale, reach back into the twist. the difference on your left and right side. And on that third time, go ahead and hold. Pull the left hip back, let the right one come forward if you want to deepen there. And you can take the gaze. I can't reach this arm nearly like my other arm was like way back here straight. And I'm like, I can just feel this natural infeel on my shoulder on this side. One more breath. Come back to center, nice and slow. Hands down, rock back into that hamstring stretch for a few breaths. If you want to work to keep the spine straight in this one or round it a little bit, that's fine. Just if you're doing the rounding, tops of the shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades move away from the spine to round and get a more balanced stretch across the upper back. Good, then come forward. Step back. Come up to high knees. I'm going to turn, you guys can turn to the long edge of your mat too. Because we're going to do Parigasana, and it's kind of nice to have your foot on a mat. Good. So take your left foot out to the side, toes pointing forward. If you have to put the leg a little bit in front, that's fine. But if you can, try to get in one line with your hip. Pinky toe side of the foot grounding. Right hand just relaxes on this thigh. It's not pushing, it's just relaxing there. Then inhale, sweep the left arm. This is your left hand, sorry, and your right arm up. And exhale, side bend toward that leg. Good. Nice and easy. One more breath. Then come up. Arm down, knee in. Right foot out to the side, toes pointing forward. In line with the hip or a little bit in front. Right arm just kind of resting here on that thigh. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. Exhale, side bend right. Shoulder relaxed. Another one here that you can do is your arm can be a little bit in front of the face. Doesn't have to be here. That feels a little bit restricted for me. But if I want more stretch, I can draw it back and I get more stretch here as opposed to here. If I put it forward, I can side bend and I get more stretch in a different place. So it just depends. Just listen to your body. One more breath. And then come up and down. Knee back in. Good. Turn back toward the short front edge of your mat. And we'll sit back in child's pose again. Any of the variations that you've been offered tonight for child's pose or any other evening that you want to take here, let's take 3 breaths. Mind still playing the active observer. Good, and then inhale to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, still wiggling around if you need. Take 2 more breaths. And then look up between the hands. Step the feet, baby steps forward, knees bent. Kind of in a crouched position. Bring the hands up to the thighs, elongate the spine. Then inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, find your Tadasana. Feet grounded. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Grounding through the feet. And just take 3 breaths here, mountain. So bring your weight into the left foot and find something to focus on. So if you're like where I'm sitting on my mat, I'm pretty close to a wall, which means I'm pretty close to a focal point. If you need to turn because there's a wall behind you that's closer, and you feel like you need that, it's going to make the balance section a little bit more accessible if your focal point isn't so far away. The other thing you can do is drop your gaze to where, like, just drop it so that your eyelids fully relax down. Just make sure it doesn't make you do this with your head, okay? So weight into the left foot and decide if you need a focal point and where that's going to be. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer. And then come up onto your right big toenail. Open your knee to the right. I'm going to turn and face the people at home so they can see. Yeah, just notice right here. Got 98% of your weight in the standing foot, 2% in the toenail. Notice if you're gripping in your foot. Notice if your knee starts to kind of drift back and you're putting a lot into the knee joint. Just notice these things and make the corrections so that you can feel your whole leg toning because you're pressing through the four corners of that foot. And you can also breathe. And if you're like, yeah, I got this, bring the heel to the inside of the leg and put 1% of weight into the toenail. Baby steps as we approach these balance poses. You need to find a variation that, yes, is firm, steady, and pleasant like all the other poses, but with balance poses in particular, you have to be able to balance or you're not doing a balance pose. You're doing a fallout pose. So don't get caught up in, it has to look this way. I've got to get my foot completely away from the floor. No, you've got to figure out a way to balance and stand on one foot. That's all. And if this is easy, come up to the inside of the leg. Notice if you're pinching in the glute and try to instead lengthen up in the side bodies above. If you want to bring the foot up higher to the inside of the thigh, you can do that. And if you have to pick it up and move it there, that's fine. I don't know very many people that can just put it there, but I know they exist because anything is possible. Good. And if you want to change your arm position, you can do that too. You could just go hands to hips for counterweight to the sides, arms to T, cactus, hands together, or just wide. You want to feel like your hips are level. So just check in there at that center part of your body. Bring your knee forward, foot down, hands down. Find mountain pose for a few breaths. So find your weight now over both feet equally. And then bring your weight over into your right foot. Come up onto your left big toe. Hands to the heart in prayer to start. I want you to take at least 3 or 4 breaths at each progression. So again, you are informing this pose from a deeper place, not from some mental construct you weren't even aware that was there until you're confronted with it. Then you can open the knee and kickstand the heel. Slowly making your way into your pose, whatever this side looks like, because it's a different side. So it might look different. So externally, it may appear to be different, but internally, I want you to have the same experience as you did on the other side, firm, steady, and pleasant. You're actually able to balance. Take your final breath. Bring the knee forward, foot down, arms release. Can walk it down a few times and come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take another deep breath. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. Let's just flow it out a few times. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, sit down into a little chair, just a baby chair. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, knees bent. Release the hands to the floor or blocks. Inhale, half spinal lift, so hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, release again, bent knee, fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Good. Exhale, lower the knees and sit back in child's pose. Inhale, rise to table. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look up between the hands. Exhale, baby step the feet forward. Inhale, half spinal lift. Exhale, fold, knees bent. Inhale to standing. Sweep the arms up last. And exhale, hands to the heart in prayer. Release the arms at the sides. Take a breath. And inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale to chair. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold with the knees bent, placing the belly on the thighs. Inhale, half spinal lift, long spine. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, different footsteps back to plank. Exhale, knees down, lower to child's pose. Release all the air. Enjoy a short pause. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look up between the hands. Exhale, baby step the feet forward, knees bent. Inhale, half spinal lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing, let the arms come up last. And exhale, hands to the heart in prayer. Release the arms at the side, take one breath. We'll go through that one more time. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, chair. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, release the hands, belly to the thighs, knees bent. Inhale, half spinal lift. Exhale, release into the fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, knees down. Release to child's pose. Enjoy the pause. This time when the next inhale comes in, rise up to table, then lower yourself down onto your belly. Bend into your knees. Take your knees mat width apart. Take your arms to T. And very gently reverse wiper knees, so feet side to side. Give yourself permission to slow down. And if you need help, you can always inhale at the center with this one and exhale to the sides. One more time each side. Bring the feet up to center, knees together again, hip width apart. Relax or straighten the legs. Pick up your right leg, reach through the toes, set it down. Pick up the left leg, reach through the toes, set it down. Stack the hands underneath the forehead. Take 5 crocodile breaths here. So just those nice, smooth, steady breaths. So these active breaths, we keep our mind in that active observer role. We're not quite to our place where we let ourselves go away. We're still really staying focused on our internal experience, all of the information that we're receiving. So come back to original intention, our original question: what is the truth? What are truths? How do we know when something is true, is the truth? It's important that when we practice, teachers, yoga teachers talk a lot about being aware of when judgment comes in and when doubt comes in, because it can skew the reality. And that leads us away from the truth. It doesn't mean that we're not curious, because curiosity isn't the same as doubt. We remain curious and we remain open to everything that's arising in our practice, and we're working to pay attention on purpose, because trying to just collect this information in a very open, curious, non-judgmental place will eventually lead us to the truth. And this is a skill that's really important that we sharpen this skill, I think even more so now in the world that we live in. We can do this here on our yoga mat. We start with ourself, with our thoughts. Bring your hands back next to your chest. Press up through table, back to child's pose one more time. Again, any variation. Even arms back along the sides. We haven't done that one this evening, but definitely done it before. Feel the gentle pressure. It's your third eye chakra. Working to ground your energy, bringing all of your focus inside. Still witnessing, still paying attention on purpose. When you're ready, you can slowly make your way to Shavasana. using any props that are available to you, including adjusting the lighting, which I will do here. Turn the overhead ones off. Come back to the intention about uncovering the truth and what is the truth and how do we know what that is, and allow yourself to soften down into the mat, to release your mind now down into your heart space at the center of your chest, where there's this infinite capacity. And as long as you are willing to surrender and to let go, and you have a deep wish to grow, each of us is capable to know in our hearts what is true, what is real, what is pure. And rather than trying to grasp or reach at something that we think that we already know, just allow yourself to release into your heart space where that limited self can be absorbed into the limitless self. Acknowledge that you are safe here to do that for the remainder of the time. And give yourself permission take a final breath into your heart space and allow yourself to just release. Gradually begin to deepen your in-breath and let it out long and slow. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Circle the wrists and ankles. Begin to gently reawaken the body. Bend one knee at a time, planting your feet. Make your way onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow if you need. On an exhale, press yourself back to your seat. If you'd like, you can join me by bringing your hands to your heart in prayer and bowing your head. I think it's useful to spend a little bit of time when we start in a seat and we end in a seat like this, to just kind of check in and notice any changes in your physical body, in your mental body, in your subtle body. May all beings know peace. May all beings everywhere be healed. And may all beings know the beauty of their own true nature. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you again to each of you for being here. Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday. And enjoy the rest of your evening.